If you're not content now while you're here, how will you be content then when you're there? This sat with me hugely when I was listening to Smartless, and Tony Hale said that. And Tony Hale moved to New York, did some musicals, and then found himself on Arrested Development, a major TV show sitcom that was syndicated to the tune of, I think, 2 decades. And then was brought back on Netflix, and it was wildly successful. And he was wildly successful in being in it. And he said something that I found amazing. He said, when I was on Arrested Development, I was still thinking, okay, when am I gonna feel it? When am I gonna feel validated? When am I gonna feel fulfillment? And because he didn't feel it beforehand, he said, in some state, you should go listen to the podcast episode, it's so good, is that he didn't feel it when he was on there. And I could relate, and I think we all can relate in one form or another. We think that we're gonna feel fulfilled or validation or happiness or content when we get to a certain place. And then we don't, because we've hinged a condition upon our happiness. And so this is what happens when we hinge conditions upon our emotions. I will feel loved when, I will feel fulfilled when, I will feel happy when, I will feel content when, I will feel successful when, I will feel of value when. That's a huge one. And there are so many times in my life where I can recall this and deeply, truthfully say, once it happened, I didn't really feel anything. And that was a case of really, that was just a case of not doing the work beforehand. And I think doing the work now, finding fulfillment in yourself now, finding value in yourself now. And Tony said this, he said, I had the same value before the audition as I did after the show wrapped. And I thought about that as an actor, as somebody who does music, it's huge. We feel, anybody that's in creativity, anybody that's in arts or creative arts can attest to this. Many times we hinge our self-worth upon our success. How many people came to the show? How many people bought your art? How many people posted it? How many people shared it? How many people clicked like on that post? And it is insidious, to say the least. And the work in going to therapy and meditation and doing a lot of self-reflection is in, well, not just the statement, can I be content now and then content then? What about the statement, I'm content now and I'll be content when I get there? Is that true? Yeah, it is. So now the conditions of my contentment are unhinged. I've separated from the outcome, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Separated from the idea of what the end is, and now I'm just engaged with the process. I'm wrapped up in the process. I'm finding value in the process. I'm valuable because I'm in the process. I'm valuable because I'm alive. I'm valuable because I'm here, because I'm loving other people, because I'm of service to my community. And I judge what's serving and what's not. Nobody else does. And so when you get into that mode of you're critiquing yourself based upon you just being you, then you can unhinge the condition from your emotion. And I think that is such a powerful thing. And I challenge you to reflect on that. What does your life look like with the condition eliminated from the emotion? What does your life look like with the outcome detached from your current process? Think about that. And we'll talk more about it later. And I'll give one example very quickly before I wrap up this video. There's actually 2 examples. One, I was a swimmer in high school. And if anybody has swam before or done a sport that's an individual sport, it isn't to really separate team sports from it, but there's something different about individual sports. You get into your head a lot. And I told myself I was not going to be of value until I went to the state swim meet. I'm not going to be of value until my whole swim career will forbid. It's kind of cold out, so I'm like having a hard time like saying the words. My whole swim career will have been for naught if I don't make it to state. And I made it to state my senior year. And I remember going to the natatorium, the University of Minnesota natatorium, and just showing up and being like, this isn't half as fun as when I was on JV. This isn't half as like happy as when I was a sophomore just, doing backstroke or like essentially races that I had no business being in. And I wasn't truly content then because I had built up state to be this big thing that was going to validate me. And it never did. What validated me was just being on the swim team and having fun with my friends, to be honest. And then there was another time when I got a year and a month long gig on a sitcom. And during that sitcom was some of my most tumultuous, I would say erratic and turbulent months. I had no sense of self, no sense of gravity, and things were just, no pun intended, unhinged. And I thought at that time, this was gonna be it, man. Ooh, I'm getting paid every week. This is gonna be great. I got a consistent job and I'm an actor. Ooh, look at me. And that was just not the case. I was not happy for most of it. And I wasn't really content until it ended. When it was over, I was like, whoo, girl, glad I'm out of here. And then I didn't really find that fulfillment or validation until I said so. And it had nothing to do with the job. It had nothing to do with making the next audition, getting an audition, getting a job based off of a job. It was just me essentially declaring that I'm valid, declaring that I have value and that I'm loved just by being here. And so I unhinged it from the gig. And that's tough to do. That is not easy to do. So I challenge you to explore what that world is like, unhinging or detaching a condition from your state of emotion and generating that yourself. Be the alternator. You don't need the fuel. You're the alternator. Just keep it going, baby. Just keep it going. All right. I hope you found this video of help. The sun is going down. I promise we're going to find a studio at some point. All right. It's cold. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.